Welcome everybody to the Malaysian Grand Prix. As the lights out is just moments away, we see Lala lining up on pole. It's lights out and away we go. It looks like Leon there up to a good start, getting a jump on Will, getting down into turn 1. It will be Lala neck and neck with Will there. These are the two favourites for today's race. Will Martin managing to get a jump on him here into the first sector. It will be Will leading. With Leon not too far. As a bump there from Will gives Lala the chance to get in first place, and he does. He's into the lead of this race, trying to be the first driver to stop Will from winning a Grand Prix this season. It's been total domination from the McLaren so far, and he stays ahead into the banked turn here. Wonderful corner to see the drives go around as Will picks up a bit of a bump maybe on the exit of that, giving Lala the chance to get ahead. Yet again, it's so close between these two drivers, as we saw in qualifying even, how fairly close these two are matching each other for pace. So we look a bit further back, I think that was Link going off a bit. But back to the focus on the lead of the race. It is Lala with an early lead, going from his pole position to try and maintain his gap ahead of Will. Very close between the two now. Will may be looking to try and make a move, but he just doesn't quite have the pace. No DRS yet, so he won't be getting an advantage. And Lala still leads just about. If we look now at these two still fighting, it will be Lala actually, but just neck and neck between these guys. It's still Lala, I believe, through the lag. Apologies for that. It is Lala with a bit of a lead, but also he's hit the barrier there a bit, and I think that's given Will a chance to get back at him out of the bank turn. It is still neck and neck between these two. Hard to say when a move's going to stick. Lala just ahead, but he's picked up a warning there, so hopefully he won't get a penalty, so this fight can continue, but it looks like he's got a bit of a margin ahead of the McLaren driver now. Victor now having a bit of a battle with Leon here down the back straight. Leon, no DRS yet, is not been activated as of this moment, but next lap it will be available to drivers, as we just see Querbel and Jamal back there going along smoothly. Victor, as it starts heavy raining now, this is a curveball for the drivers. They're going to have to try and survive a lap in heavy rain conditions. An interesting one for the leaders now as they try and get across. They will be the first into the pit, so they will benefit the most, but they've got to try and survive a good lap here. Peldog in, he's able to time that one quite well, despite being a bit far behind. But we shall now see Lala and Will trying to just stay on the track maybe, given the conditions, as we see Will there going for a bit of a slide. A great drift from the McLaren driver there. Great skill to keep it on track, but that's Querbel into a barrier. Querbel out of this race. That will be a safety car deployed, because it is very much still on the track. Not good for the Antarctic driver, who DNFs yet again. You do have to ask yourself, when is he actually going to finish a race this season? But it's not good from him. But his teammate is still in, so maybe some points yet to come for Antarctic Racing. So we see these guys all head into the pits now, surely, given the conditions. They've managed to survive it, other than Querbel, as now into the pits. We'll also see Querbel's teammate Leon coming in. It'll be a tricky entry to the pits, considering how slippery it'll be, so drivers having to manage their braking zones correctly. Apologies for the lack of view on the pit stops. We'll go on board though with Lala to see who comes out ahead between him and Will. I believe it was Lala. He had quite the margin, and he does have the margin still out of the pits, so no big surprises out of the first pit stops here between these guys. We now look at Lala as he's gone into the barrier there. The Ferrari driver has gone into the barrier, lost his front wing. He'll have to come in to make another stop here. Luckily, there is a few laps still left of the safety car. He'll go ahead of Will, I guess, given the fact that he was actually ahead before the incident that occurred. But he'll dive into the pit at the end of this straight to try and fix his front wing. So we look now, it's all green, so Will able to go whenever he pleases. It will be Victor lining up just behind, oh no, not Victor, sorry. That will be Dennis lining up just behind him, with Leon behind those two. So Will, free to go when he wants. He's gonna go now, I believe that is. He's off now and away after the safety car. It's 92% tracked water, which is not good, and it will probably be a red flag soon, as we just see the drivers really squirmy out of the exit there, and I think that's Lala off in the background. Not good, and not the restart that he would want after his incident with losing his front wing. As we look to Victor now, and that's somebody's gone very wide there, but Will Martin's actually lost the lead of the race. Dennis here now into the lead. He takes up first position under these tricky conditions. You have to be very, very skilled in order to do well in these conditions. So we see Will maybe struggling a little bit in these conditions. Maybe not got the right setup on, as he is running slightly less downforce in the rear, as Math's very, very squirmy on the exit there. That'll give Victor a good chance to get ahead, and Lala goes around the outside of the two of them, cutting in front of them almost. A very different line there, but it's still Dennis with quite a margin, and Leon chasing down Will now, as we see Math ahead of Victor, I think, despite overtaking. Interesting one there from them, but Victor now quite wide there, just showing you the lack of grip these drivers are facing at the moment. Nothing really changing so far, as Victor tries to move around the outside, but just no grip whatsoever around there. Maybe not the best line in that corner given the conditions, but it's now 94% track wetness. Surely there must be a red flag soon, as we see these drivers just struggling really throughout this time, as Jamal rounds out the back of the grid. Surely you'd like to think there'll be a red flag soon, but nothing being hinted by the FIA. Peldog now, the last runner so far. But Dennis with quite a lead here, and that could be big if there is a red flag, which there is now a red flag, so all the positions will stay the same. Well, here we go, the second start of today's race. 16 laps due to the amount lost previously. It will be Dennis on pole. A good start from Will even to get into first, jumping Dennis and getting away well does the McLaren driver. It will be Leon actually challenging Dennis for second place, and I think he's managed to get ahead. The Haas driver maybe not getting the greatest starts despite being on pole, but will have quite a comfortable lead, as we see Jamal fighting with both the Haas's now, one in front, one behind. Very interesting here, as he's taking a slightly different line. Not worked out too well, apologies for the lags there, but it will be, I'd like to tell you which driver's ahead, but I can't quite make it out at the moment. It will be Jamal, I believe, just getting the better of the two Haas's here, who seem to be struggling a little bit off the start of this race, falling victim to both Leon and Jamal now. But we see Victor trying to have a go at his teammate, a bit too much curve even, on the exit of that turn heading into the third sector. But Victor now quite the distance behind, and Dennis trying to use DRS here to get ahead of Jamal, but he just can't quite find it here. And not having the greatest restart is the Haas driver. Still looking to get ahead, and he's going to try and maybe make a move down the inside. No, around the outside. Nothing going for the Haas driver. The AlphaTauri. Jamal's just had a massive bump there and lost both positions which he's gained. Not good for the AlphaTauri driver after what looked too good. So we now see Jamal trying to fight back at Victor after taking a bit of a bump a lap ago. He's gone around down the inside, and Victor taking massive bumps there. Not good for the Haas driver, as he loses the position to Jamal. He'll look to try and get it back maybe, which he's actually picked up a lot of pace there out of that corner, and he's trying to go around the outside, just nothing sticking again. Jamal seemed to be defending quite well. Into the banked section we go. Different line from the two here, and it looks like it's neck and neck. No, actually Jamal's managed to stay ahead for a bit longer. As we look at the rest of the grid, as Jamal takes another bump, losing position yet again just seems to be finding all the bumps on this track, as Victor now takes one out of the exit of the second sector. Not good. Very bumpy track, of course, here in Malaysia, but it will be Victor with DRS now trying to get back at Jamal, but he seems just a bit too far back to make any moves. He'll try maybe back on the home straight. No DRS here, of course, but it doesn't seem like he's going to get ahead. We look at Victor now. Is that Leon? Is that Leon DNF there? Yeah, it is. He's lost his front right tyre, I believe, and his front wing, so that will be his race over for Malaysia here. Both Antarctic cars DNFing as we look on at Victor now, up into 4th position. Jamal seems to have frozen there. I wonder if he's disconnected. Yes, he has, so that's now up to 3rd for Victor. Not good. 2 DNFs on the exact same lap there. I'm sure Jamal and Leon both not very happy about that, but that pretty much cements Will's lead, given that Leon was his closest challenger. As we look at Peldog now out of this race as well. Everybody DNFing this lap, but that leaves 4 drivers remaining. So we look now for Will Martin to come into the pits for his stop in this race. Not quite the amount of laps remaining to do only a 1 stop after the red flag, but he will come out behind Dennis and Victor, so maybe a battle shaping up there between the Haas drivers and the McLaren driver. Well, we thought this would be coming shortly. Victor with old tyres here against Will Martin's very fresh tyres. Much more grip than the McLaren even. As he goes round the outside in the bank turn, completely overtakes Victor there off the track. But I guess it's legal. So that's a very good overtake from the McLaren driver to get himself up into 2nd and challenge for the lead of this race. Well, again, this happened to Dennis's teammate just a few laps ago, but it will be a last lap battle for the lead. What we've been hoping for after this absolute domination from the McLaren driver, but he'll have so much fresher tyres than Dennis now, as his tyres will be very, very worn. Will looking to get ahead, and he's gone around the inside. He's gone around the outside even now to get ahead, and he manages to do it. Superior grip over the Haas driver, but it should now be Will's race to win from now on. No real challenges from behind, considering the gap to Victor and Dennis's current state of tyres. It's been not the most convincing drive from Will Martin today, a bit shaky under the wet conditions earlier on, but he looks certain to win yet again in Season 8. He'll be coming around the final few turns shortly, but you'd like to imagine that this is his race to win from now on. That will promote him to 3 race wins this season. And can he be stopped, really, is the only question you can be asked. He's just had dominant performance after dominant performance, and even on a day like today where he hasn't been at his best, he still will come through to win the Malaysian Grand Prix here in Season 8 of IFRS. Your race winner there, Will Martin. Dennis comes home 2nd, a good drive from the Haas driver. We look to Victor now. He's looked to set the fastest lap, but he doesn't seem to be improving anywhere to grab it off the McLaren driver. He'll be now rounding the last corner, heading into the last corner now, and to the line. P3 for Victor here, and it will be a 2-3 for the Haas drivers as he smashes into the barrier there and takes the conventional way out. And it will be Math rounding out the top 4 and all the finishers of today's race. As you can see, only 4 of the few that came here this race weekend, finishing with Will Martin coming in 1st place with the fastest lap of a 109.464, taking home 26 points this Grand Prix, maximum points for him. Dennis will be taking 2nd. Good drive there from the Haas driver, going up 3 positions in order to get there. Victor in 3rd position, gaining 5 positions off the start, taking home 15 points. Valuable points for the Haas drivers there. And Math then taking up 4th position and the last driver to finish and get points from this race. We knew it was going to be a hectic one, and it certainly lived up to it. As we look now at the drivers' standings, it's Will Martin in 1st position, 26 points of his closest rival of Victoro. And it's 3 for 3 so far from Will, so very good from him. As we look down at Victoro, who's also 20 points ahead of Leon. Jamal and Leon, quite a close gap between the Antarctic car and AlphaTauri driver there. Only 3 points separating the two. Dennis up to 5th position, gaining about 10 positions, that is, on his race today, getting up to 18 points, and Maths there taking 6th place away from Victor and Alex the gamer, I do believe, going up 11 positions there, the Audi racing driver. And then as we look at the standings, it is still domination from McLaren, but not as much as in the constructors, as in the drivers, sorry, as Haas overtake AlphaTauri to take 2nd position so far this season, with Antarctic Racing taking home 4th position, with only Leon finishing for them so far this season. Audi Racing taking 5th position off BMW, going up 7 positions, and it will be BMW rounding out these standings. Thank you very much for watching today's race. It's been an exciting one during the early stages, and next weekend we will be at South Korea, ready for the 4th round here in IFRS. Thank you.